Our next presenter is Jim Carchidi with JFC Staffing Companies. Jim serves as CEO, aka Chief Enthusiasm Officer of the JFC Staffing Companies. He's a recipient of the Central Penn Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Award, the Edward M. Messner Inspiring Business Award, and a past finalist for 2 Local Entrepreneur of the Year awards. Jim is an avid student in the fields of neuroscience, leadership, organizational development, and psychology. He wants to inspire the world to generate greater mental effectiveness so that people can realize more of their potential on both a professional and personal level. Jim has presented on topics including success, psychology, science of self-talk, difficult conversations, emotional intelligence, and building great teams. Please welcome Jim.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, or re-welcome. Been here for a while, so it's good to see some familiar faces, and there are some new faces for me, which is a good thing. How many people here have seen me speak before? Anybody? I see a few hands. All right. Did you let the cat out of the bag? Did you tell everyone to be prepared for what they're about to experience? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, I know it's after a meal, and it's midway through, so there might be some yawns and some tired eyes. I usually give a little exercise to see how awake we are. You're going to hate me for this, but not everyone has to do it. If you would hear me though, and just stand up where you're at. Yeah. All right. Good power. Okay, now don't hit the people beside you. Just put your hands out and do a little exercise. You want to clap them hands together? Awesome. Thank you for my first standing ovation. It meant a lot to me. I really appreciate it. You can sit down now. Thank you. So, I've had a lot of questions thrown at me, good, solid questions since I've been here, pacing around in the back. And again, disclaimer, I was the one sneezing back there. I am not sick or ill, not of a cold. I've just been blessed to grow into horrible allergies, mold spores, which is all the lovely trees that have leaves that are falling right now. So forgive me for that. If you see me later and I give you a fist bump, that's the reason why. I'm trying to be curious because, you're on your nose and using tissue. It's not good to shake people's hands. So I got that out of the way, right? That's my disclaimer to one of many. What we're going to talk about, the questions that was posed earlier, I could go on and on, but we're on a short time frame here. What we're experiencing right now with hiring and the talent shortage, this is the new norm. A lot of the economic forecasts that are calling for probably next year to two, the skies are getting darker, it's going to rain, but you don't have to prepare for a hurricane and bad dumb patches. We will have a recession, a slowdown, but hopefully, if they're correct with all their data, forecasting, it's not going to be like the Great Recession we all survived through. Speaking of the Great Recession, that is why I'm up here to talk to you about coaching. Let's make sure this works. Get my ugly mug off there. All right. So I was also fortunate, like getting allergies at a later age, to buy my father out of a business that is in the business of getting people jobs during the Great Recession. It was a wonderful decision for my dad, not so much for me. I also happened to be getting newly married, and shortly thereafter, having our daughter. So there was a lot of pressure. And I looked around and I saw the fear and panic in our JFCers' eyes. Morale was down, everyone's looking over their shoulder, everything you saw in the news, foreclosures, layoffs, closings. And I thought, what can we do to keep things alive? How can we stay afloat during these rough seas? And fortunately, one of the things we control is how we treat each other. So coaching became something I learned from being a coachee and then becoming a coach. And I've trained all of our managers personally on how to develop the coaching mindset. It's really simple too. It's not easy, but it's simple. Easy means you're dedicated to it. So why is it important? 52% of employees either do not trust or are unsure of their level of trust in leadership. It's not my data. That is from Towers Watson Global Workforce Study. The next slide. This actually went up. I should have adjusted it. They came out with their most recent survey, the Gallup organization. It's, I believe it's anywhere, they say 73, and there's a snippet of that they counter with 77. So let's just go with 70 to be conservative. 70% of the American workforce, they're not engaged. And disengaged employees mean lost money. And that's what we're here about, right? CPAs and the clients, we're here to talk about money. So that's why coaching is so important. When you think back, who was the best manager you ever had? Think on that. And why why was he or she the best manager? And I would pose to you that when you think of whoever that is and why they were the best manager, it was not so much their brains and how knowledgeable and smart they were, but it was qualities of their heart. Did they make you feel genuinely cared for? Did they have genuine concern for you? Did they develop you? Or did they just manage you? And we all have to be managers. There's nothing wrong with management. But when you can infuse a little bit of coaching, pepper that on top of your regular management, oh my gosh, the results. I will tell you firsthand, the results are amazing. Because I didn't believe this stuff. You know, I got it. Oh, Jesus, all kumbaya stuff sitting around the fire. Everyone's happy. No, this is legit. And there's data and statistics to back it up. So let's move along. Management. Think of a tree. This is my little exercise. Obviously, I put them up there. Think of your own tree. Maybe a palm tree, pine tree, whatever that tree may be. In your head, when you imagine it down to the details, I mean nitty-gritty details. I bet none of you here envision roots. Did anyone here, if they were playing along with me, did they think of the root system? One person. Two. Okay. Good. My point is well made then. Very few of us think of roots. Coaching are the roots to the tree. Management is the tree. It is what is glaringly obvious. It is what we train people on. It is what we measure people on. Leaders, managers, that is. But we never get them prepared to go down deeper and be the roots. And when you're coaching, unlike management, you're getting to the root cause of things. It's not to give answers to your employees. It's for them to have self-discovery and self-development. So, a lot of times I know I failed miserably in my first role as a manager, and I failed miserably in my first role as a leader. Two different scenarios, two different things. We won't get into that right now. But what we do as managers, what we do as human beings, is we first, let's say we're going with coaching, someone comes to you with a problem, you first have a perception. Oh, I know a problem like that I solved a year ago. So we treat it the same when no situation that an employee brings to you is the same as prior ones. They might be similar, but we end up getting experience bias. And then we give advice and try solving their problems with something that worked, even if it was a week ago and the piece of change today. Those perceptions lead to beliefs. And that's where we get in trouble. Because once we have a belief, it influences our behaviors, how we act. And then our behaviors, they bring out results, outcomes. Once upon a time, a personal story, we won't get into that today. If you see me later, I'd be happy to tell you all my misery and failures, which I was going to do here, but my own ego, I won't today. I'm considerate. But what I learned when I failed in my first role in management, as we usually do typically, whether it's a new job with a new organization or a promotion, whether you're brand new to management or you've been in management for 20 plus years, we think we have to have all the answers. It's important. They're coming to me. I gotta have all the answers. I don't know about any of you. I don't like hanging out with know-it-alls. So why the hell would I want to know it all for a manager? And that's too much burden on our shoulders. Who are we to think that we're going to have all the answers? So when you're doing coaching, and we'll get into the specifics of this, resist fixing their problems. When you're in a coaching conversation, which typically, from my own experience, I schedule them with my leadership team bi-weekly. Simple as an Outlook. It's not some crazy technology. I send an Outlook, recurring Outlook reminder. They have it, so that way it's always there. They have to schedule around it. If one of us has to reschedule, I make sure it happens within 48 hours. Because if you start putting them off and you let them put them off, you lose the value, and it doesn't seem like an important part. But we gotta stop fixing problems. When you are putting that chief problem solver hat down as a leader and manager, and putting on that coach hat, your role is to raise questions, not to answer questions. This is about developing your employees so they're stronger and more productive. And by the way, they stay with you forever. Because they can do the same job somewhere else. We all have competitors that have similar same services, but they can't do that same job and feel the same way they do in your organization when you start coaching. And it's a lasting effect. So, my mom always told me this, and I still haven't listened to her. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Talk less and listen more. When you're coaching, do the opposite of what I'm doing up here. I'm up here talking. Not listening to anything more you right now. Don't do that. Coaching is not managing. Coaching is those routine individual times. It can be 10 minutes. to a half hour with my senior leaders, I put a whole hour in. And that's probably not even enough. And it's great. It's great. So there's a video here. I will have them send it out on a link because of time constraints. It's a great video. It's not about the nail. When his wife turns to him, she's got a nail sticking out of her forehead, and he keeps trying to tell her, like, she's like, oh, I have a headache, and my sweaters keep snagging. He's like, well, honey, you have a nail. And she shuts him down. You're always trying to fix things. Why are you always trying to fix things? And in this short video clip, he finally says, wow, that must be tough. Tell me more. And then all of a sudden, she opens up. It's a silly video. It's not even based on coaching. It's some marketing company from years ago. But it gets the point. I use that as a visual because I also like to solve problems. I want to put the superhero cape on and be like, yeah, come save the day. Let them solve their problems. You're backseat driving it with coaching. You're keeping them within the confines of not going off the road, but you're letting them have more control and influence over the outcome, which then takes your employees from sheer compliance, which is important in the CPA world, compliance, to commitment. And when you get employees that switch from compliance to commitment, they will run through walls for you. They will go above and beyond for you. They will work late hours, not that I want them to because there's a balance. They will do that though. And coaching is the best way to instill it. So what is workplace coaching? Again, these slides are for all of you, so I'll have to make sure they send them to you. This is not proprietary stuff. And I'm no expert on this. I'm an avid learner. Once you become a knower, you shut down. Too many of us in leadership, we all say, well, I've spent 20 years and I'm doing this. It's horrible. I'm a learner. If you want your employees to be a learner, you need to demonstrate it yourself. And that's the best about coaching. You're learning. You're on the journey with them side by side. You're not dictating them what to do, which is fun to do with managing. We do that a lot. It's a necessary part. I'm not saying management's wrong. So workplace coaching, schedule it as a one-to-one based on an employee's agenda, not the manager. We'll go into the GROW model. And you're targeted at long-term development. It's not for instant results. It's like building a relationship. It really is. And what is the most important thing in life, whether it's at work or personal? We all want to have some sense of belonging, some connection, some type of relationship, but we usually overlook that at work. We don't see the value in it. As I've had a lot of executives and companies just want to Skype call at 4:30 in the morning with a company in Belgium, because that's their evening. And the one chief person there, I'm not going to say the exact title, I love this, but I don't get it. I think it's the soft and fuzzy stuff. I said, listen, I'd love to take your money and fly me to Belgium. It looks like a fun place. But I'm not going to do this if you're not committed. Because if you're not stepping toe-to-toe with this, no one else. You're going to lessen the chances of it taking root. It's not about your agenda, and it's about long-term development, not instant results. And it's about helping them discover their own answers, not telling them. It's amazing, the beautiful things that are up here between these 2 ears with your employees. If 2 heads are better than 1, then why not do that? Coaching uses 2 heads. I learned so much with my coaching. I did it before I was the chief enthusiasm officer. I did it first deployed it when I was the vice president of sales. And I loved it. It was an experiment. Let's see if it works. I don't believe in this stuff. Let's try it. It was amazing. Not only did they love me more, but I loved them more. I was learning from them as much as they were probably learning from me. The results were amazing, and they still are. Keep me on time, right? All right. So the GROW model, we'll fly through this because you can see it in slides. GROW is for goal. What do you want to most talk about? What do you most want to talk about? When I open mine, this isn't rocket science. Mine is even more simplistic than this, and GROW model is not something I developed. This is out there. There's books written about it. I find it to be one of the more productive ones, excuse me. I ask, hey, what's your name? Haley?
Yeah.
Did I say it right, Haley?
Yes.
You would say yes anyways because you're like, stop embarrassing
No,
everyone.
that's
Okay, so Haley, we sat down and like, so Haley, what are your biggest cares and concerns right now, this day? And then you would tell me, and I said, interesting, tell me more. Okay, what approaches have you used to solve that challenge? How they work? Might there be other approaches? All that, it's all it is. And it's great because I don't have to put that on my shoulders. I'm not the one that's like, oh my God, I gotta have all the answers. Although hopefully I do have a lot of answers. But you work on it together. So GROW, G, R, reality. What is the progress on this goal right now? This is after you have them sequentially, because you also debrief and say, let's pick up where we last left. We're off. Options. What else could you do? What have you seen others do that might work for you? Again, that creates a sense of community and relatedness and brings your employees together. So they're not relying on management all the time to solve problems. Now they're working together, peer to peer, line to line. And they're learning from each other, which, by the way, increases your tenure, decreases, obviously, turnover, and they run through walls for you and their team members, because now you are like a big family. Oh, wait a minute, did I skip here too much? Options we did. And then W, will. Not will, any of you out there named Will, but will, what will you do? What step could you take this week that will move you towards your goal? You mentioned that you could do blank. When will you commit to doing that? That's where the coaching has some teeth, because you ultimately still, as a leader or manager, have to enforce accountability. And when it comes out of their mouth, it must be true. When it comes out of my mouth, or the leader's mouth, they'll question it. Because now it sounds like command and control. Whereas with coaching and this model, no, that's great. I kind of co-developed that, so yeah, I thought of that. I'm going to run with it. And they did think of it. All right, let's give it a try. We're not going to do that, especially that. No one should be diving off cliffs, but we're not going to give a role play here because of time. What does it mean for companies? This is not a joke. This is not fluffy stuff. I realized this with my own organization. We have been put in books. We have had national recognition for our culture. Little old JFC in South Central PA. We've been best places to work 9, 10 times. It's called Clearly Rated, which is like the Gallup organization of our industry. And they poll the North Americas, which is good old US of A and Canada. 3% of my industry gets in it. That's the big boys too. We're going to give their names out. Manpower, Aerotech, Kelly Services, and the publicly traded firms. We've gotten on that list 8 times. Shouldn't let anyone know. We just found out we got it again. But they don't publicize it until February, so you didn't hear that. And I'll deny it if you say. 3% of our entire industry make that list. Most of the people in our industry never make the list. It's unheard of. We made it 8, 9 times. And I only say that because I'm so damn proud of my work family. I'm so damn proud of how coaching, when implemented across the board, has exponentially grown my organization, bottom line, but also them as individuals. Like I said, this is the new norm, gang. As employers, you do not have the upper hand. There is Glassdoor.com, there's Google ratings, there's Facebook page ratings. It's no secret. You can't hide behind your failures. If the employees are not happy and they don't feel like they're being treated with care and concern and they're not being developed, the rest of the world knows that. And when you're posting ads or using a recruiter, God forbid, you're going against stiff headwinds. If you don't get this stuff right, your reputation is very transparent now. We're talking about Amazon and Wayfair. I know everyone here uses Amazon. Probably not as much as my wife does, which is a point of contention. We're going to talk about that then in my financials. But Amazon, they started it too, and Zappos. I know when I go on, what do? I look at the best ratings, and I look at the worst ratings. And then I make my decision in the middle. So even when you have bad ratings, how you respond bodes well for your brand. Sometimes you get bashed, of course, we're not perfect. But I, myself, as Chief Enthusiasm Officer or my COO, we respond personally, publicly, on it. We don't fight back and know they could be dead wrong. We usually are dead wrong. We say, hey, I'm so sorry you had this experience. Here's my phone number. Don't give your extension. Give me a call. I want to make things right. And then potential candidates, people you want to hire, they see that in the review. They're like, that negative review, look how they responded. It must be a pretty caring company. Because I've seen business owners and executives get in digital shouting matches. Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, I'm right. Potential candidates you want to hire, they see that. Like, oh my gosh, they're CEOs and arrogant SOB. So be mindful of that. Okay, let's get back on track, Jim. Builds trust in management and leadership. We talked about that in the beginning. That is a huge thing. If people don't trust you, trust is everything. They don't trust you. And since the Great Recession, millennials get dumped on a lot. I'm a generation that's not many of us out there. Thank God, so I look good. Millennials, they went through that. Some of them were children when their parents might have lost their homes. Banks ruined their lifestyle. The employers laid them off. Ended their benefits. That's why they don't trust leadership. That's why they don't trust organizations. They do trust you when you do this coaching. They do trust you when you make it personal and you emotionally connect with your employees. It reduces turnover. It improves organizational organizational performance and bottom line results. I'm going to cue you so you know what I'm talking about, right? All right. So everyone looked at me wherever I came here, especially when I ran out of the bank on the way here. But coaching is not for sissies. It's not soft. It's not kumbaya. It's about, there's more than that. It's about big money, guys. Now, I took this out of one of your accounts. You'll all find out later. All you child ever saw clients like myself. It's about big money. This stuff is legit. I was a little uncertain myself, but now I'm drinking Kool-Aid. Drinking Kool-Aid, it's going to make you a ton of money. And if you're not doing it, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It might already be costing you a ton of money. So a quick recap. Don't trip on those measurements. All right. Ask rather than tell. Actively listen. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Remember what my mom said, probably a lot of your moms and people here said. Resist the chief problem solver. In today's day and age, employees don't want to be told what to do. They need to be at times, certainly. But they want you to support them in their journey to discover the answers. Give them guidance. And if they're dead wrong, then advantage. But more often than not, they get to the right answer. And ground your assessments. Think of the tree roots. Definitely in here. So think of the tree roots. Oh, I messed up. We're going all over the place. So think of the tree. Listen. Think of the tree roots, gang. Oh, I don't want to go. Wait for the next speaker. Think of those tree roots. Because what do we do as managers? What do we do as managers? When somebody comes to us with a problem, we jump on it. And usually their problem, I'm going to get another analogy, is the top of the tree. But coaching, you will discover together that their real problem is down below. It's their roots. And if you don't get to the root cause of their challenges, their problems, their issues, then you're not solving them. I think I'm done. Further problem solving capacity. Okay, there's another one. So keep in touch. Listen, gang, I do this locally for free. I was just talking, I had a presentation with a company this morning. I have another one tomorrow. I'm supposed to do a chamber event this evening. They cut me off. Apparently I'm not allowed to go to that because there's a happy hour later. I do this for free. I love it. I do this because I care about my own communities. I want to see all of you thrive. I want to see your employees running through walls for you. That makes the world a better place. And I said world. We might be little. We have a big impact. We're a small organization. But it's like dropping that stone in the water. Take the little stone to send a big ripple effect out across. So I hope you embrace this. If you don't, I don't want to talk to you afterwards. I'm kidding. I like when people throw the flag. It's not who's right or wrong, it's why we see things differently. And look me up on LinkedIn, all that jazz. Reach out to me. I'd love to meet with you, talk with you. I like coaching. I learn just as much by working with companies and doing these things as I do being in the audience. So thank you very much, everybody.